Hi, beautiful ladies. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk to you about the importance of moving in silence and learning how to be discreet, especially if you are on a level up journey. And this is especially true for Black exoticals or any exotical, in fact, because number one, there's already a spotlight on us. People are fascinated by us and how we look. And whenever there is a spotlight on you, you will get admirers, but you will also get haters. And, you shouldn't be afraid of haters. You shouldn't be afraid of people who do not support you and what you're about. But you do need to understand the importance of maintaining silence because keeping things quiet into yourself is a strategic move and it's honestly a form of maintaining boundaries. When you are quiet about things, no one can sabotage what they don't know. And, some people may say, oh, that's secrecy and, you shouldn't be hiding and you should be able to share. But number one, so what if it's secrecy? You have the right to determine what you want to share and what you don't want to share. And you also have the right to determine who you want to share that with. No one is entitled to your personal information. And so it is within your right to decide whether or not you want to share something with someone. That is totally fine. So firstly, you don't want to tell your friends and your family everything. We are inclined, especially as women, to tell our friends, our closest friends, everything. Maybe our mom, our cousins, our sister, everything. But the fact of the matter is, especially if you are on some sort of self-development or level up journey, as they say, not everyone is going to understand your position and understand your intent. And sometimes friends and family, because they've been so close to you for so long, they may be more inclined to try to deter you from your vision and your path and try to redirect you, quote unquote, to the path that they think is appropriate for you. And while it is nice to have people in your corner who can look out for you and kind of give you vision of your blind spots, your vision for your life and your dreams and your aspirations are personal. And so you can't expect other people, especially those who are close to you, to fully understand. And so when you try to share your vision with people, especially at the onset before you even begin to do any work or you begin to see anything come to fruition, they can unintentionally sabotage your growth if you share too soon. So for this group, if you trust these people and, they have your back and they support you regardless of, their own personal desires, then I would encourage you to share things when things come to fruition. By extension, that even goes to your relationships, keeping your relationships private. Because again, your loved ones, while they may have good intentions for you and your partner and they want to see what's best for you, the fact of the matter is, if your partner does one thing that they think is hurtful, you may forgive your partner, but your loved ones will not, and will always remind you of the time when he said this, the time when he did that. And especially if they themselves are single and have never had a healthy long-term relationship, they can be more inclined because of their own personal bias to try to see the bad in that person and to be less forgiving, if you will. You also want to keep your life at work and at school private. This is probably the most, if there's anything that you get from this video, this is the one that you need to listen to the most, especially as it pertains to work. For some reason, people think that because of proximity, you see your coworkers every day, oftentimes more than you see your own family members. They think that this proximity equals friendship and familiarity. And that could be further from the truth. Unfortunately, especially if you work in a corporate setting, and I've heard women in the healthcare sector say this as well, it is a competition. And even if you don't intend for it to be a competition, others intend for it to be a competition. They may be vying for your position. They may think that you are not worthy of your position, even if they are in higher positions than you. Like, there's just a lot of weirdos in the workplace. And so it's in your best interest to just be professional. And sometimes people will try to suck you in by trying to be super friendly, or they'll try to kind of be personal themselves. But just because they reveal personal information to you doesn't mean that you should accept that invitation and reveal personal information about yourself. When I was working in corporate, I had a coworker that would overshare. She would talk about every new relationship that she had. She would talk about other managers on the team. And she kind of made it seem like, oh, I'm one of you guys. And if you have any concerns, you can come to me. And honestly, even if that's her intention and she has good intentions, it's a trap. Just know that when it comes down to saving yourself and preserving your role, that person will think of themselves first and throw you under the bus. So don't fall for it. Don't take the bait. You don't need to like be standoffish either and create enemies. You always want to have allies and people that you can turn to, especially in the workplace when you're looking to boost your career. But just leave it at that. You know, only give them enough to make them seem as if you are sharing, but don't give them too much that they can then turn around and use it and tell other people. So, for example, if they say, "Oh, what did you do on the weekend?" You don't want to be a bore either and be like, "Oh, I all I did was stay at home and I didn't do much." You can say, "Oh, I went out with friends and we went to the museum and we looked at this exhibit. And then after we went to the exhibit, my friends and I, we went to have dinner at this new Italian restaurant." Okay, so they learn something about you that makes you relatable. And when you're relatable, that makes you likable. And when you're likable, you're more likely to move up in the company. So they learn that you like to go to the museum and that you like to try new restaurants and that you like Italian food. That's all that they need to know. They don't need to know that you, in fact, went to this museum with your fiance, that your fiance was the one who paid for everything. He was the one who set it up. Because when you give too many details, especially like that, and you're a woman that's being treated like royalty, that will harbor jealousy. And then people will try to get you fired, get you held back from promotions and things like that. So only give them enough to make you relatable, and everything else you keep quiet. You also need to stop posting everything on social media. People are now using social media to find out about other people before they even meet the person. And to me, that is very scary. That's almost as scary as people using AI to create deep fakes. Being able to find out the person's partner, where they work, where they potentially live, the name of their children, their cat, their dog, what they had for dinner last night. People are creating fake profiles just so that they can snoop and stalk people, and are using it to sabotage relationships. They're using it to dox people and send it to people's employers to get them fired just because they disagree with that person's worldview. I've seen people here on social media get doxed just because they have a different opinion than the mainstream, which is like, what is this, communism? Like, you're not allowed to have your own views and beliefs, and you kind of have to just go with the status quo or else. Like, to me, that is incredibly dangerous. That goes against our democratic values as a society. And the fact that people go to such extreme lengths to, number one, find out about you, and then number two, to use your information against you to harm you is even more dangerous. And so, as exoticals, you know that you already have a target on your back because people don't like exoticals, and black exoticals getting ahead. They don't like seeing exoticals, women who are beautiful and who are the total package and who are winning. They don't like to see them getting ahead. And so they will use your own personal information against you. Because again, it's not like Twitter, where Twitter now protects your account. And if someone searches up your account on Google, they can't see your account unless they're logged in with a profile, a verified profile. Whereas with Instagram, um, even though there's a limited view of what you can see, if you try to Google someone's Instagram account, or even look at it without logging in, But even then, you can still see the bio, you can still see what the person looks like, and the first couple of photos. That's more than enough information to give to someone who wants to just be weird and just snoop, or someone who may have ulterior motives. And it's not my intention to instill fear and to fearmonger. Social media is also a beautiful thing. It's a great way to share your memories, preserve your memories for yourself, and stay connected with people who you truly have good relationships with. But increasingly, again, we're hearing stories of people just being devious and being nasty. And so it's in your best interest, especially as an exotical, to look out for yourself and just stop posting everything on social media. Or people will just not post at all because employers are also using social media to vet potential candidates or just to keep an eye on what their employees are doing. Okay, an employer should never be able to have access to you outside of work. Unless you're involved in some sort of criminal activity, what you do outside of work should never be any concern to your employer. And so don't give them an opportunity to find out more about you or to use whatever it is about you to their advantage. So, say, for example, you have a side hustle. A lot of corporations have a problem with their employees making money outside of them. Even if you, for example, are a lawyer, but then you like to sell baked goods on the side. That's clearly not a conflict of interest. Like, unless you're recruiting, clients from your employer to buy your baked goods, that's not considered a conflict of interest. Even volunteer work. That's just a form of manipulation and control and monitoring. And honestly, they just want to know who's doing what so that they can pass people up for promotions. Oh, that person's already making extra money outside of work. They don't really need a promotion. I mean, nothing will stop you from, like, if people like you and people want you to get the promotion, nothing's going to stop you from getting it. But if people don't like you and they want a reason to kind of hold you back from getting things, they will use this as an excuse. There's also power in keeping quiet. Because when you keep quiet and you're intentional about what you say and when you say it and who you say it to, people are more likely to take you seriously. And this can come in handy when you need support or you need someone to vouch for you. If you're the type of person that's always talking, always has something to say, always oversharing, people are just going to be like, oh, that's just so and so. She's always talking. Like, I don't take what she says seriously. But when you are intentional about what you share and you make sure that what you share is relevant, people will respect you more because they see you as someone who is credible and not just talking for the sake of talking. When you overshare, it can be seen as attention seeking, even if that's not your intention. And so, again, that can backfire. Especially if people are jealous of you, they will see everything that you do as attention seeking or thinking that you're better than. You really just don't want to give people ammunition to be used against you. When you are private and you learn how to keep things to yourself, it also gives you room and the grace to take your losses in private. Okay, none of us are on top all the time. Life consists of ebbs and flows, wins and losses, and some losses are more devastating than others. And sometimes you need the comfort of just having privacy so that you can deal with things. You can, number one, not have to deal with embarrassment and shame. Number two, you can have a clear conscience and be able to see how you can regroup properly so that you can recover from your loss. So that's why I really think, especially like, again, if you are pursuing something career wise, business wise, relationship wise, especially, having a private life really will help you in cases where things don't work out in these areas. It'll make the loss less of a blow because, again, you have just the security of being able to heal and recover in private. Some people, if you're doing better than them, they will despise you for it, especially if you came from a rough place, especially if they knew you when you had nothing, and then all of a sudden you kind of rise up and you beat all odds and you become this success story. Some people really don't like that. Some people can only tolerate you when you're down in the dumps and not doing well. And so when they try to keep tabs on you, they're trying to keep tabs on you to make sure that you uphold a perfect quote unquote image. And they're watching your every step to make sure and to see if you kind of stumble and make a mistake so they can say, oh, you see, I knew that that person was no good. I knew that that person wasn't deserving of that promotion or of that relationship. So all the more reason to just keep things to yourself, and you'll protect yourself that way. And again, I don't mean to sound nefarious, but the fact of the matter is, you really don't know people's true intent. Sometimes people can present as loving and kind and have your best interests, and a lot of times you find out that they don't have your best interests at heart. So it's better to protect yourself than to be sorry and say, and have to keep repeating the same lessons, if you will, over and over again. Okay, let me know down below in the comments what you think about this one. How do you make sure that you protect yourself in the information that you share? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.